The woman, strong, unique, beautiful, extraordinary, and intelligent. Please relax and enjoy this life-changing exposition on The Woman by Reverend Mrs. Funke Felix Adejumo. You are blessed.
I don't know how much time I have. That's why I want to take the time to say thank you for choosing me to be in your favor.
The power of positive parenting. The power of positive parenting. The power of positive parenting. As we look at the scriptures, we discover that many parents failed. And I want to mention forefathers, because in the African setting, sometimes we think parenting is only about the mother. Thank God that fathers are gradually waking up to know that it is not enough to bear a child, you must rear the child. And God in his infinite wisdom that sent the child through two people knows that there are things in a father that a mother can never ever be able to provide. A child you don't scream at will become rotten. We see examples of them all around. Many fathers are not taking up their responsibilities. And we have different kinds of fathers. We have, number one, passive fathers like Eli. They are there, but they are not there. Whatever is the law, let him do, like Hezekiah. As long as it is not in my days. The child is spoiled, they don't care. Don't touch my child, don't beat my child. Passive fathers, they are non-entities. Because while they are alive, their future is being eroded. It's not only when you scream. My husband doesn't scream, but the children know that by the time that he stands up to beat you, you too, you know you are really trespassed. You don't have to beat as a father, but your presence should be enough and authority in your home that the children will have someone that they fear. The father is for strength, the mother is for comfort. I hope nobody is telling me that, oh, I'm not married. My dear, what a blessing you have to even hear these things before you go into the institution of marriage. So it can prepare you. As a single person, I prayed for years about my children. Number two, we have permissive fathers. Your daughter dresses up in the morning. The skirt is so short. Her body is showing. She's inviting one stupid boy somewhere to come and rape her, and you are a father and you don't even bother. He said it doesn't matter, it is Olaju. It is that Olaju that will kill you, my father. Please get it clear. Civilization does not mean that you must expose your body and walk nakedly because you want to belong to their class. There are permissive fathers. You should not be a permissive father. You should not be a passive father. You must be an active father. You must be involved in your children's lives from when they are young. Every father must be involved. Every father must participate. There are fathers whose wife is pregnant, she has a toddler, and you hardly carry that child, and you call yourself a father. You come to church and you carry your big desk Bible, and your wife carries all the trouble. The children must sit with her. You don't even get involved in anything. You get home, it's the same thing. It is your wife that does the assignments with the kids. It is your wife that prays with them while you are changing gear every morning. You are sleeping, and the children gravitate towards their mother. It's not a good life. African men must rise up. Was it not Jairus that left the child to go look for solution? Or like that man in 1 Kings chapter 4, who said, when the son said, my head, the man said, take him to his mother. Whereas Jairus went to Jesus in the book of Matthew chapter 5, and he knelt down in worship and said, my daughter is ill. Please come home and heal her. Where are the fathers? The power of positive parenting. Look at Samuel. He failed as a father because the man that mentored him, Eli, also failed. Look at David. He failed as a father. He was a great man of God, but he failed. He was the only man that occupied 3 positions in the Bible successfully. When Saul tried it, he was cut short. David was a king, he was a priest, he was a prophet, and God wasn't angry. He put on the linen, ephod. God was not angry, but he was a poor father. He produced Amnon, he produced Adonijah, he produced Absalom. What a failure. What a failure. And we can go on and on and on and on, like that. Even Moses was a failure when it comes to fathering. He wasn't involved. Ministry took his life. Don't you notice that when we were growing up, one of the reasons why I never imagined that I would marry a pastor, because pastor's children never turn out well. Pastor is always involved in ministry and they never had time for their children. Winning the world. Did you hear what Billy Graham said? When I was a young evangelist, I thought I could win the whole world. Now I am old and the whole world is not won. I wish I had spent more time with my family. Billy Graham, where are the fathers? All you know is beating your children. No time to listen to your child. You can't carry your children. You can't sit on the floor, on the carpet with your children as a father and watch African magic together and watch cartoon together. I keep celebrating the memory of my father because he taught me how to write well. He will hold my hand, he will stoop over my shoulders, and he will teach me how to write. I can't forget that. My father lived for 87 years. In the 50 years, almost 50 years that I knew him, I never heard him say a curse word. Not once. Even when he was not born again, I never had him argue with my mother in her presence. I never had someone come to report him and then he'll be talking in the house or he'll be drunk or something. Look at your life very well. If you want to know the kind of lives your children will have, you better look at your own very well. Where are the fathers? We keep speaking to the mothers, but today I'm emphasizing to the fathers. Stand up to your responsibilities. It's not enough to let your wife take it over. Please, it's not. If you look at 1 Samuel in chapter 8, the Bible says, and it came to pass from verse 1, 1 Samuel chapter 8, when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of the second Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba, and his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, after money, after covetousness, took bribes and perverted judgment. Like mentor, like protege. Eli's sons, the same thing. Samuel grew up under him. I don't fear old people, but I fear little kids because you don't know what they can become. Did you not hear the story of one man in Ondo town who died and the children removed all the car keys and the house keys and placed the bunch on his chest and said in the casket, "Daddy, you forgot your keys." Life does not consist of the things you drive and the houses. Your future is in these children. You better take the time to be with them. As fathers, great politicians, great pastors, we thank God for you. But excuse me, let me spend 5 minutes with your children and I can decide if I will ever respect you. Great time for your children. Don't let them become wayward. Teach them the basics of life. Statistics in America say that 85% of the youths sitting in prisons grew up in a fatherless home. What do we see in Nigeria? Are we not tending towards that gradually? How can you as a father see your son sag the trouser? I see you sag your trousers. I'll help you pull it down. Since you want it to be down, let's help you. It came from the prison in America. That rubbish came from the prison. That demonic thing came from the prison. It came from homosexuality. Homosexuals will sag their trousers to invite the other one and say, "Come and sleep with me." And you see even Christian children sag their trousers and the thing will be dropping like this. And like we told you the other time, can one irresponsible boy come to your house, sag his trousers and do like this? "Daddy, I want to marry your son." And you will agree? "It's your daughter I want to marry. I want to marry your daughter." Yeah, praise God. You don't want that kind of a child. You don't want to introduce that kind of a child as your son-in-law. Or one son that puts one earring here and he weaves his hair and then he's speaking like an area boy. You look at him and say, "No, this is not responsible." You will tell that person, "No, we don't do this in my family." Let's not leave the old landmark in the name of civilization. Yes, we may wear makeup. Yes, we may wear trousers. Yes, we may not cover our hair, but there are some things that are basic. We must not leave the old landmark. Let's not go with them so we don't perish like they perish. They don't have a future. Christianity does not erase proper dressing. It doesn't. May your sons be as plants grown up in their youths. May your daughters be as cornerstones polished after the similitude of a palace. That's what Psalm 144 and verse number 12 tells us. Please take note of the following things. Number 1, have the number of children you can adequately take care of. Women, listen and listen good. These are not the days when you have 4 children, 5 children, 9 children because you are looking for a boy or you are looking for a girl. If you kill yourself in the labor room, you die in vain. You have only committed suicide. There is one girl in the ushering department or one in the choir that will marry your husband. In case you think there are no girls, if you commit suicide by going to that labor room every year, you have boys, you have girls, you are looking for hermaphrodites. This 21st century, one young man some time ago who was working with his friend, and they were looking at different properties, beautiful edifices. And the boy said, God, where was my father when these buildings were being bought? If you don't want your children to ask that kind of a question, why will your children and some children come to the same church, grow up together for 10 years, and because you are poor, you cannot send your child to a good school? In the future, they will meet, and the children will be wondering, why did daddy not send me to that school? It doesn't have to be the most expensive, but if you have 2 children, you can give them better education these days, except you are a multi-millionaire, than when you have 6 children. That's the truth. These are not the days when you are pregnant every year and you kill yourself for nothing. So let's take care. Let's give back to the number that you can adequately take care of. Psalm 112 verses 1 and 2. Genesis 24 verse 60. Number 2, don't be too busy not to have time for your children. There is no perfect father anywhere, but there are great fathers.
You have just been blessed by Reverend Mrs. Funke Felix Adejumo. Join her again on this station, same time next week. For further inquiries, please call or text 080-3473-5425 or 080-3506-6656. You are blessed.
To say thank you for choosing me to be in your favor.
The woman, strong, unique, beautiful, extraordinary, and intelligent. Please relax and enjoy this life-changing exposition on The Woman by Reverend Mrs. Funke Felix Adejumo. You are blessed.
I don't know how much time I have. That's why I want to take the time to say thank you for choosing me to be in your favor.
There is no perfect father anywhere, but there are great fathers. We've been to burial ceremonies and we could tell who is the proper child. Live your life in such a way that you will not be dependent on what you earned or what you inherited. And prepare your children in such a way too. Life is not a bed of roses. You see, you are the authority over your children. Let them hear you. No Sunday school teacher can help you train your children. We dignify these ladies that they are working on these children, but excuse me, your children have contact with them only on Sundays for 2 hours. These children are with you. The school teachers cannot impart on these children. It is your responsibility. And you will give accounts over these children's lives. Number 3, your lifestyle must match what you say. If as a man you can sleep with anything, it doesn't matter what you preach to your children. It's a spiritual thing. They will drink from it because your blood flows in them. If as a woman all you do is gossip and backbite and tear people down, it's a matter of time. Your children will soon inherit it. Let your lifestyle match what you preach. One of the greatest gifts you can give to your children is to honor their mother as a father. You raise your hand, you slap your wife, you beat your wife, you think your kids are young, you are joking. It is ingrained in their memory. You are telling your son, disrespect womanhood. And when you disrespect womanhood, you are bringing a curse on yourself because it was a woman that bore you. And there are unspoken curses. You shout at your wife, you misbehave, you do anything, and you still come to church to raise your hand to sing. It's not acceptable to God. Love their mother and show these children that you really do. Help with house chores. Men were here during the woman conference, and my husband was telling them that even as a bishop, sometimes you will see, he noticed that I'm busy, he will sweep our room. It doesn't reduce him. It makes me to honor him some more. You want to kill your wife? I was privileged to be at a counseling session, and one of the couple, the man said, when my wife wakes up, she will just lay her own side of the bed and sweep her own side of the room. I said, is this African magic or what? And these children are watching. Train your child. Proverbs 22:6. That's another one. Train your child, catch them young. Another point, don't be inattentive. When you don't parent your children positively, these are the effects. Number one, the child will have low self-esteem. I used to have it. When you don't positively parent your children, when your children are wrong, it's not that you now start exposing them to everybody. Hey, you will be on the bed, go and carry your mattress when the friends are there. What rubbish? No, these children don't forget what you tell them. Don't open your mouth and call your child a failure. That a child failed mathematics does not mean that child is a failure. I told you a joke. Was it a cartoon that I read some time ago in the newspaper? This father was always, harassing the children. In 1945, when I was in school, straight A's. In 19-something, when I moved to school, straight B's. One day, the son was sweeping and swept under the cupboard and brought out one result, 1936. Mathematics, F9. F9. And brought it to daddy. Your child is an extension of your life. If they killed you because you failed, will you be alive? So, be patient with those children. Some children are late starters, late developers. Stop comparing your children. Don't like one because he's a boy. Don't make the same mistake that Isaac made because he ate venison from Esau. See how he scattered his family. It took God to step in. Children don't forget things. Then you beat the child. I used to be like that, and I had to learn. So please, let's be attentive so that the child will not have low self-esteem. Number two is poor educational achievement, poor peer selection. When you see a girl with purple hair on one side, blue in the front, red at the back, and then green here, that girl is saying, my parents don't give me attention, so look at me. Look at me, somebody look at me. That girl is asking for attention. That is it. So they choose the wrong people. So if any young boy comes around, 1419 or one Yahoo boy says, girl, baby, you look beautiful, she falls because you didn't give her attention. Validate your children. When your daughter calls you, say, my beautiful angel, mother of nations, apostle, kingdom financier. Validate your children with your own mouth. Don't say they are too young. When they come in the morning, they kneel down to greet you. Bless them. I put God's favor upon you. You are a wealthy possibilitarian, baby. Your child knocks and comes inside your room. Once in a while, clap for the child. Your excellency. The child is looking for the best. It's you. They will never forget. But all this, there is razor blade in your body. This shokoto is torn again. You are inability to relate to others. You see the child very shy. Your child must be confident. Your child must not be proud, but your child must be confident. Even when you go for interviews and you are not confident, you fail. Build confidence into your children. Build self-esteem into your children. Rebellion. Some girls will say, when I leave this house, so they will become prostitutes. That's what happens to pastors' children sometimes. By the time the guy steps out of that place, because everything is rule. Don't do Ghana weaving. You must not wear this. You must not wear that. So by the time the guy gets on campus, it's something else. She's coming home on vacation. She changes her dress. One girl came to me. She had aborted 6 times. And she told me many things. I felt like beating the parents because I know them. And the mother was talking and said, my daughter is a virgin. I just looked at her. Well done. This guy says, if I carry a glass cup and, as a teenager, if it's because my father, I was always shaking, the thing drops, the next thing is, wow. So she found attention and love somewhere else, and it was a wrong place. I had to befriend her. Many times I would call her, validate her, and all that. But nobody can do that for your children the way you will do it. Even if you're a young mother, you are breastfeeding. When I was breastfeeding, I never wasted breastfeeding time. Breastfeeding time is not the time you are playing Ludo. Bad job, put it in your mouth to just, yes, 6-3. No. No. Hallelujah. That's not the time. You pay attention to the child. You put your breast in the child's mouth and you be looking at the child. You be prophesying to the child. You'll be singing for the child. My children, that was how I raised them. I'll be telling them, you'll be greater than your father. And you see the child looking at you. Try it when you get to, looking at you, searching for love. It's there. So please, let's start raising our kids like that. Even from pregnancy, start blessing them. Scientists have proved to us now that we preachers, we are right. They say that science has proved that a fetus can hear. We've been preaching this thing for years. That baby in your womb can hear. So speak to the child. And when the child is out, speak. Keep speaking to the child. If you can just allow 15 minutes to listen to your child, even if it's once a week. Your child says, I don't want to go to school today. You can carry steering stick. You lazy drone, you are going to school. You don't know whether the driver that takes that child to school messes her up. You don't know whether there is somebody in her class that is funny, that is bullying the girl. You don't know if you need to speak to the authority. You keep carrying stick. One day that child is going to rebel and jump up and carry that stick from you, beat you and run out. A lot is happening. Rebellion. Please raise your kids positively. Sometimes it makes children to go into drugs and alcohol. Sexual escapades, like Eli's children. Maybe the father didn't have time for them. Rebuke your children. Punishment is different from discipline. A mother's job is never done. What values do you have for your children? Please don't allow your children to run wild. Don't. There are 4 values you must give to your children. Number 1, spiritual values. Don't step out of your house any day without praying with your children. Have family altar. Apart from that, pick one day of the week, daddy, mommy, no matter how busy you are, when you will have what I call family meeting. Some of you young people are listening to me today. Some of you are in the university. Some of you wish your fathers did some things. Some fathers will not even say I love you when they want to drop the phone. One day every week, you bring your children together. So please, spend time with your children. Let's give our children spiritual values. Number 2, give your children moral values. Moral values. Moral values. When I spend 5 minutes with a child, I can tell if the child has home training. When your child at age 2 begins to shrug the shoulder, beat that shoulder, beat the shoulders until it comes down. Because the child is telling you something that is in child. Inside every child, there is something that must be corrected. You say, it's like me. When I was 2, that's how I was doing. You are killing him. You're killing him. Give your children moral values. Don't let them feel inferior, but at the same time, let them be respectful. Let them say thank you. As your children grow, let them wash. Whether they are boys or they are girls, let them be able to cook. My husband will insist, let your children wash your cars. I thank God we didn't even have house helps when they were young. You don't wash your dresses, you wear it like that. Don't use your house helps to spoil your children. You are helping the house help, you are killing your own children. Your money should show in other areas, not in the way your children are spoiled. They don't know how to talk. They talk anyhow.
You have just been blessed by Reverend Mrs. Funke Felix Adejumo. Join her again on this station, same time next week. For further inquiries, please call or text 080-3473-5425 or 080-3506-6656. You are blessed.
To say